Hello students, welcome to this new class, and as you see here we have the title Conventional Sources of Energy. So we have been telling that we have two types of energy. One is conventional source of energy, another one is non-conventional source of energy. So that is what we have been studying. Yesterday we were talking about firewood. One of the major conventional source of energy is firewood, especially in the rural areas. People depend very much on firewood for their to meet their energy demands. And today we have another type of conventional source of energy, that is coal. We know coal is remaining under the earth, buried for millions of years. Then only it is able to come out through mining and provide us as a fuel. And so it is, we can say, it is the most abundantly found fossil fuel in the earth. You can also follow in your textbook page number 31. So about fossil we can say it is the most abundant. There is a lot of coal deposits are there in the earth, and it is used as a domestic fuel. So we can use it as a firewood, like a firewood we can use it for cooking our food. So that's why it's a domestic fuel we can use at home for cooking food. And it is also we can use in the industries to, especially in the iron and steel industry, they use this coal for melting the iron ore. So this is a fuel that is used in the industry, iron and steel industry, for melting. Then it is also used for steam engines. So a few years ago, even in the train, the coals were used. So they were running from the heat or the energy that is generated from the coal that was used for running the train engine as well. Now most of the engines, they have stopped using this coal engine. Instead they have converted to a diesel engine or electricity engine and so on. So earlier a lot of train engines were running with coal. Then it is also used for generating electricity. So we can generate electricity with the power of coal. So what are the purposes of coal? You can say it is used as domestic fuel, that is to use at home for cooking our food and so on. Then we can use it for industry purpose, especially in the iron and steel industry it is used very much. Then we can use it for generating electricity, and it is also used in the engine like a train and so on. So many purposes are there for the coal. And we said electricity can be produced from coal. So if we are producing electricity from the coal, then that electricity is called thermal power. Thermal means hot or heat. So the electricity that is generated from the heat of this coal, that is called thermal electricity. So remember the name, thermal electricity. How is it produced, or from where it is produced, and so on. And if it is produced from the water, electricity is produced from the water, what is it called? It is called hydel electricity or hydel power. So if it is coming from water, it is called hydel power, and electricity if it is generated from coal, then it is called thermal power. So don't forget and don't get confused. So remember, electricity can be created from water as well as from coal. If the electricity is generated from coal, then it is said thermal power, and if electricity is generated from water, then it is said hydel power. So the coal which we are using today was formed billions of years ago. So that we have already said. These animals, the trees and other plants that were under the earth remaining there for millions of years under great pressure and under great heat. Finally, they have turned out to be the minerals, the fuels. So all the coal that we get, it was deposited under the earth millions of years ago. So it remained there for millions of years ago. Finally, they have turned out to be the minerals out of great heat and pressure from the earth. And when giant ferns and swamps got buried under the layers of the earth. So giant fern means trees. Big trees were falling down, maybe because of earthquake, or maybe because they, out of old age, they got rotten and fell down. Then on top of it, mud fell, and slowly they became under the earth, and they remained there for millions of years. And coal is therefore referred to as buried sunshine. You can underline why coal is buried. Coal is referred to as buried sunshine. It is because the millions of years ago, the trees and the swamps and other trees, other plants, they got buried under the different layers of the earth and remained there for millions of years. So it is buried under the earth. Therefore, this coal is called buried sunshine. Though it is black in color, it is said it is called buried sunshine. And let us see which are the countries in the world producing coal. So the major coal producing countries are China, USA, Germany, Russia, South Africa and France. These are the major countries in the world producing coal. Then the coal producing cities of India are Raniganj, Jharia, Dhanbad, Bokaro and Bokaro in Jharkhand. So these are the places that in India where this coal is mined out. So most of the places are in Jharkhand. So Raniganj, Jharia, Dhanbad and Bokaro. So these are the places where in India we find coal deposits. Now another type of fuel or another type of conventional source is petroleum. So petroleum products. So petroleum also we know it is called fossil fuel. It is also like coal. It was buried. The animals and the trees that were buried under the earth for millions of years, finally they have turned out to be petroleum products. So petroleum, when we say, and different varieties are there, the kerosene, the other diesel, all these are called petroleum products. So the petrol that keeps your car running. So if you have a car or a scooty at home, and how is it running? It is because of you have to put petrol inside that. Otherwise, if you pour water, your vehicle will not move forward, because water has no ability to generate power for running engines. So you need to run an engine with petrol. So, or keep your cycle from squeaking. So if you have a cycle and you drive for some time, then what kind of sound will start coming out, isn't it? Then what do you need to do? Over the chain, over the pedal, you have to put some oil so that it will become smooth. So otherwise it will keep on making noise. So this petrol that is helping our vehicle to run, or the another oil that is called mobile oil that we put in order to lubricate the cycle chain and so on, or the engine parts, all that is coming from petroleum. And it is found between the layers of rocks. So where do we find petroleum? It is inside the rock. It is not in the soil, not in the water, but it is inside the rock. And and it is drilled from oil fields located in offshore and coastal areas. So it will be very deep under the earth, inside the rock, and we need to do drilling to drill, make hole inside this rock and take it out. And some of these rocks are staying under the sea, under the ocean, and some of them are in the coastal region and so on. So we have to do the drilling. We have to drill very deep down. Then this is then sent to refineries which process the crude oil to produce a variety of products like diesel, petrol, kerosene, wax, plastics and lubricants. So the petroleum that we are mining out or drilling out from under the earth, it is a black liquid. It is black in color. So we cannot use as we get it from the earth. It is called crude oil. It is not pure oil, but it is called crude oil. Then it will be sent to the oil refineries. There they will purify this oil and separate them into different categories. So some will be petrol, some will be diesel, some will be kerosene, some will be wax, some will be plastics. So all that. So the crude oil that we get, it is a mixture of all these things. So we have to separate because petrol has got different quality, diesel has got different quality, wax has got different quality and so on. So all these things are mixed together and staying together, and it is called crude oil. So we cannot use as it is, so we need to do purification. That's why we have to send it first to the oil refineries, and they will refine it and they will make it pure, separated one from the other. Then petroleum and its derivatives are called black gold. So before we said coal is said as buried sunshine, and this petroleum and its derivatives means all the arrivals, all that is coming out together with the petrol, the diesel, the kerosene, the wax, all that. So all this together, the petroleum products, that is called, what is it called? Black gold. Before it was, the coal was known as buried sunshine, and petroleum products are known as black gold. Why it is called black gold? Because they are very valuable. You know, now the petrol and the diesel, they have become so costly, so expensive in our country. Per liter they have become 100 rupees or even more than 100 rupees. So it is so costly, and therefore it is said black gold. So recent days or recent months the price has gone up very high, and therefore it may be even worthy to call black gold. So it is black in color. When we drill out, crude oil is black in color, that's why it is called black. Then it is said gold because it is so costly, so expensive. And the chief petroleum producing countries are, so which are the countries producing a lot of petroleum products? They are Iran, Iraq, Saudi Arabia and Qatar. So the Gulf countries, all these are in Gulf countries. They have a lot of oil deposits are there. Iran, Iraq, Saudi Arabia and Qatar. And the other major producing countries, major petroleum producing countries are USA, Russia, Venezuela and Algeria. So the four countries in the Gulf region, they are the one producing more. And apart from that, we also have got some other countries that are also producing and minor scale, the oil in the minor scale. They are USA, Russia, Venezuela and Algeria. The leading producers in India. So let's come to our own country and see where are the oil producing centers, petroleum producing centers. One is in Digboi in Assam. We have nearby oil center is there, oil refineries are there, oil deposits are there in Digboi. Then Bombay High, another place in Bombay, place also is known as Bombay High. Then deltas of Krishna and Godavari rivers. So in the Krishna and Godavari rivers in their delta region also has got a lot of oil deposits are there. So in India we have three places. One is Digboi in Assam, then Bombay High in Mumbai, then in the deltas of two rivers, Krishna and Godavari. These are the places where we find oil deposits in India. Then let us see how this petroleum, the word came out. How did they get this name? So the word petroleum is derived from Latin. So it is a Latin word, and petra means rock. Then oleum means oil. Oleum means oil. Petroleum, that means rock oil. Petroleum, petro means rock, oleum means oil. So petroleum means rock oil. So we said the petroleum oil, the petroleum is found inside the rock. Therefore we call it petroleum, or we can say it is a oil or rock oil. That's why the name petroleum is given. So remember from where this word comes, from where this meaning comes. Petra, what is the meaning of petra? What is the meaning of oleum? So that's these two are Latin words. Petra means rock, oleum means oil, and together when we read it becomes oil or the rock. Now let us come to about another type of conventional source of energy. They are CNG, or we can say natural gas. Natural gas is another type of conventional source of energy. Then natural gas is found with petroleum deposits and is released when crude oil is brought to the surface. So from where do we get this natural gas? It is also found together with the petroleum products. So when the petroleum products are brought out, the crude oil is brought out, this natural gas also is taken out from them. Then it can be used as a domestic and industrial fuel. So just as we said in the case of coal, it can be used as a domestic fuel, also as an industrial fuel. The same way, this natural gas, that is CNG, compressed natural gas. Another name for, the full name for natural gas is compressed natural gas, that is called CNG. So this can be used in the industries. Then Russia, Norway, UK and Netherlands are the major producers of natural gas. So which are the countries producing the natural gas? Russia, Norway, UK and Netherlands. These are the countries producing a lot of natural gas. Then let's come to India. Which are the places we have natural gas deposits? So in India, Jaisalmer, Krishna Godavari Delta, Tripura are some areas offshore in Mumbai have natural gas resources. So these are the places. Which are the places? Jaisalmer, Krishna, Godavari Delta and Tripura, and some places in the inside the sea, that is under, we said Mumbai High, there is the petroleum products are there. Same place we will find natural gas as well. Then very few countries in the world have sufficient natural gas reserves of their own. So most of the countries in the world, they do not have enough CNG deposits, enough gas deposits are not there in many places. Then the sharp increase in our consumption of fossil fuels has led to the depletion in at an alarming rate. So, the human population is increasing. Therefore, we need more and more consumption as well. So, accordingly, the use is increasing and more natural gas is consumed. The toxic pollutants released from burning these fuels are also a cause of concern. So when we use this gas, it is releasing a lot of pollutants, a lot of toxic, a lot of poisonous gas also is released. So that is also causing great concern for the health of the people. And unchecked burning of fossil fuel is like an unchecked dripping tap which will eventually run dry. So when we use this fossil fuel, lot of toxic, lot of poisonous gas is coming out. So if you just allow it to go on happen every day of our life, what will happen? It will be same as if you see a water tap is dripping, drop by drop it is coming, and you don't close it tight, it remains, keep on falling drop by drop. So the tap is getting water from the water tank. It's a water tank will be somewhere on top. So drop by drop it falls, and we think, oh, it is nothing, only just one drop. But after many days, what will happen? There will be no more water in the water tank. It will be dry. It is in the same way. The use of fossil fuels, it is releasing poisonous gas little by little into the atmosphere. And if you think, oh, it is only very little, and we just leave it, then after many years, what will happen? The gas will be very high. The amount of gas in the atmosphere will be very high, and it will be creating a lot of health problems for the people, and that can be very dangerous for us. And so we need to check, we need to control this toxic gas. So this has led to the tapping of various non-conventional sources of energy that are cleaner alternatives to fossil fuels. So because people have realized that using of this petroleum or this fossil fuels, it is giving us a lot of problems for our health. It is giving us a lot of trouble. So eventually our health can be in danger. And so people began to search for different type of fuel, different type sources of energy that will not affect the health of the people. That is how people began to create another type of energy that is called non-conventional sources of energy. So what we are studying now is conventional sources of energy, and that has got a lot of drawback, disadvantages are there, health issues are there. So people began to think about finding out non-conventional sources of energy. Now let us see about little detail about what is this CNG, compressed natural gas. You can see in your textbook left side. Do you know? So compressed natural gas or CNG is a popular eco-friendly automobile fuel. So this is eco-friendly and it is used for running vehicles as well. So it has not much pollution. It has got less pollution, CNG, and it causes less pollution than petroleum and diesel. So comparing to diesel and petroleum, you can say this CNG has got less pollutants. If you use running your vehicle with CNG, then it will be less polluting. It will not pollute much, but it will be less. So we learn about different types of power, sources of power, and these are the common sources that we use for many years: petroleum products, diesel and coal, firewood. All these are we are using for many years. That's why it is a conventional source of energy. Conventional means common source of energy. So this is what we are using in the normal cases. So we shall wind up for today, and we will study again tomorrow about tidal water sources, tidal power source we will learn. So thank you for listening. Have a nice day. Bye.